supporting women entrepreneurs for over 25 years to build a successful business.
And I'm Janet Benedict, also putting in over 25 years connecting and coaching entrepreneurs.
Wow, we have a lot of years combined. You feeling old yet, Janet?
Some days, but young at heart.
Yeah, me too. It's all good. Just before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to Sarah Smith. Don't you just love her theme song she did for us?
It is so great. I'm so happy that Sarah was able to do that for us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. And we're going to have Sarah at the end of the show talking to us for about 5 minutes or so. So stay tuned and don't miss it.
That's great.
Yes. So today on the show about rocking your networking during a lockdown. You know, since the current world situation has us self-isolating and social distancing, aren't you getting tired of it? I sure am. There's not much of a chance for us to network in person. So the question is, how do we keep our relationships with the customers we have, and how do we meet new people? Today on the show, we're going to cover 10 ways. Before we get started with the 10 ways, I just want to tell you towards the end, we're going to announce the prizes that are available for you tuning in today, and some exciting news about what you can win.
That's great.
So Janet, let's get started with number one. What's number one?
Number one is maintaining your existing relationships. This is at one that whether we're in a lockdown or not, you should always be looking after your current connections. If you've been attending a networking event at all, you've known or got to know certain people. What are they doing? How are they handling this lockdown? Reach out to them. Maybe have a chat on something like Zoom, or pick up the phone or send an email. Hi, how are you doing? Just get together with them. See how they're coping, how they're handling their business. Any ideas they may have that they'd like to share with you, that's always helpful. So maintain those existing relationships and don't lose touch.
So important.
Mm-hmm.
So important. So what are some things you can do to keep in touch with your existing clients?
Well, you can just drop them an email. Something that I'm finding more people are doing too is just getting a little postcard. Especially with the time of year, we see different postcards of spring and summer things, and just writing a note, thinking of you, and dropping it in the mail.
Nice.
It costs a stamp, basically.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a really good one, because when I'm coaching with my clients, I always tell them, don't forget about your existing clients, right? We tend to be also always on the outlook for new business, and we tend to get comfortable that our existing clients are just going to keep dealing with us no matter what. But that old saying, out of sight, out of mind, kind of applies here, right? So please keep in touch with your existing clients. Email them, call them, do whatever you can. Keep in touch.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
So number 2 is pick up the phone. Many people would love to hear your voice, and picking up the phone is such a quick and easy, painless way you can put a smile on someone's face. You never know whose day you might make. You might change their day for them just by picking up the phone and saying, hey, how you doing? I've been thinking about you. Especially during this time, right, Janet, where we're all like self-isolated and we feel alone. At least a voice. I know it's not a face, it's not a hug, but it's a voice.
And that makes such a difference. And not just in business, but in your personal life too. Many of us have got older relatives that are stuck at home because of this pandemic. They're told not to go out at all. So they're getting things dropped off on their doorstep. They're not connecting with anybody. To pick up the phone and say, hi, how are you doing? And hearing their voice and just giving them something cheery to think about. Again, a letter works, but I'm thinking that phone call and hearing your voice has got to be so important, especially to those that are older and maybe struggling with the loneliness even more than the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the idea of virtual coffee meetings.
Okay. So virtual coffee meetings, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit later on from something I did, but all it takes is setting up something like a Zoom chat or a Skype chat. You could even do a Facebook one now in the messenger there, and just say, hey, I'm going to be on at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be bringing my coffee. Join me. And if you can do one of them a day or one a week, whatever works for you, it's reaching out. The good thing about reaching out to people is it keeps you foremost in their mind. So when things are over and things are getting back to whatever our normal is going to be, they're going to think of you and remember you. If you have no touch with them for several months, they're not going to reach out to you when it's all over. They're going to reach out to people who were there.
Yeah.
And paying
yeah
attention.
and it's just so nice to know that people are thinking about you, right? I had someone call me last week and say, hey, I just wanted to pick up the phone and hear your voice. We message all the time, but I thought hearing your voice and you hearing mine would be special. And it was. It made me feel special, and it did make my day.
Yes.
So remember, pick up the phone. We rely on technology so much, right? We text, we Facebook message, we Instagram message, and we lose touch. And the younger generation, they don't even know people's phone numbers, right? So just remember, pick up the phone.
I have to say, though, I'm so thankful for all the forms of technology we have with the internet and social media, and as well as telephone and that, because if we didn't have that and this was happening, can you imagine?
I know exactly
how everybody would be feeling, and people wouldn't have the opportunity to work from home as much if
That's
we
right.
didn't have the technology, because you've got to have contact. So if this was going to happen, it's happening in a time when we have the knowledge, the technology to handle it a lot better than had this happened 30, 40 years ago.
Can you imagine how much bread we'd be baking if we didn't?
You say bread, and I think, how big my hips are getting.
I know my friend messaged and said she makes fresh bread every day, and I said, oh my gosh, that's dangerous.
Oh,
it's very dangerous. I get a kick out of seeing the Facebook feed and everybody making the artisan 5-step or 4 ingredient breads. It's great. I've been making those for years. So to me, it's old news, but it's neat to see people, starting to do different things like that, right? When you have some time on your hands, taking up hobbies and baking, and but definitely dangerous for the hips.
Using these big kitchens too. It's funny. I often laugh at people. Well, not laugh at them, but just I find it amusing. A lot of people get these beautiful homes with beautiful big chef-worthy kitchens, and then they eat out or have takeout all the time because they don't cook. And now I'm thinking, maybe some of those kitchens are being used, which obviously they are, even if it's only for making bread. People are starting to find, we have a kitchen, we need to use it. And I really have always kind of smiled when people have talked about how important it is to have that big kitchen with all the bells and whistles. And if you talk to them later, it's like they eat out 4 or 5 times a week.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because life is so fast paced, right?
True.
Yeah.
True.
But we are slowing down. We've been forced to.
And I like it.
I kind of like it too. Yeah. I just want to take a moment before we head on to number 3 to thank 2 of our sponsors. We've got 4 wonderful sponsors today. 2 of them you'll be having short commercial breaks from, but All Things Holistic and Steam Whistle Brewery have been kind enough to help with donating to our show and sponsoring our show. So thank you, All Things Holistic and Steam Whistle Brewery.
Absolutely.
So Janet, number 3.
Okay, number 3 It's all about building new relationships. We just talked about maintaining relationships.
Hmm.
So building new relationships can happen even if you can't meet the person in person. Okay. Um, what it is, make comments and in your social media, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you're doing, make comments, like, tag the person, tag them to your own network, let them know you're out there. And it's another way of finding businesses and looking for people that you might not necessarily look for just because we're forced into not going out and meeting them. We're going to find them online. You'll find that a lot of people at this time are into sharing. They want to collaborate. They're not competitive. They're like, let's share. There's enough business out there for everybody, and
Definitely.
let's help one another out at this time and nurture those new relationships and introduce them to others. Introduce them to your circle.
Mhm.
Perhaps if you are doing a networking meeting, those same people will become regular attendees at your meetings because you reached out to them when it was just online.
That's right. Yeah. Wonderful. So let's go on to number 4. This is a fun one. Attend online networking meetings.
Mm.
So watch for online networking blah, 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 opportunities like the one Janet and I are hosting on Zoom every Monday morning at 9:30. We just started last Monday, and it was so fun and refreshing to be able to see the faces of people that I hadn't seen in for a while, plus to see some faces that I've never met before in person. I've only seen their Facebook profile and maybe the occasional video they post. So it was really nice to meet those people and also to be able to have the chance to get my face in front of those people as well, because I'm sure maybe they don't know. Maybe they're a member of one of my groups, but they just don't quite know who I am and what I'm all about. So that was good in two ways, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so we want to attend as many as we can. Watch for people who may need your product or services, right? Because you could be able to form some strategic alliances with them, right? And most networking meetings are not charging for inclusion in their meetings right now. So it's a good time to check them out.
Yes.
Um, Give you a better idea if you want to pursue them when they're in person as well, right? Um, Also, I know we're going to be speaking about being a leader down below and forming your own online networking meetings too, like Janet and I did. Um, but it's really important, speak with some other meeting facilitators. Many are enjoying the online version and attracting people who are not local to them, but will still do business with the members. So they're bringing, by being online, it's bringing an opportunity to become more Canada-wide or worldwide and bring in people that we might not normally see at the in-person networking meetings as well. So you're meeting quite a vast variety. And I have a feeling that these online networking meetings are going to continue on after we're opened back up and can do them in person. What do you think, Janet?
I totally agree. And when you say about bringing in other people from other areas, I have found a few people have reached out to me from BC to New Brunswick to Peterborough and Barrie, and they've come on to the online meeting. And the one lady actually said, I have been wanting to attend your meetings for so long. She's in Peterborough.
Mm.
And she says, now I can. She said, this is so great. As you know, I host a couple of different networking meetings here in the Kitchener and Cambridge area,
Right.
uh, both for women and for men and women. And I am enjoying the online uh, atmosphere. Everybody is friendly. Everybody is open and relaxed. It's nice, and I'm thinking sometimes our winters are really nasty. So online could be
Yes,
an ideal way to go.
that's a
And
great point. It's a
yes.
great point. Yeah. Because, I don't mean to interrupt, Janet, but I was just thinking that when meetings get canceled, because of bad weather, you
Yeah.
can still continue on now that this groundwork has been set and people are used to running them. I would encourage everyone who runs an in-person networking meeting to get it set up this way, because what a beautiful save it would be to be able to, instead of canceling, still see each other and talk to each other, right? And still
Absolutely.
network.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I find I run them the same way I ran the in-person ones,
Mm-hmm.
with the beginning and, hi, like as people are coming in, everybody's doing a little bit of chit-chatting here and there, and then doing the introductions if I have a guest speaker or a certain topic.
Right.
The one group I do, I really work with a mini mastermind in the group, and you could do that just as easily online. We just do
Mm-hmm.
it more in a group as opposed to breakouts.
Yeah.
And I have found not only am I happier with the content and the way everything plays out, but other people are too, and they're telling me. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a really important thing. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to leave your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your pants on if you don't want. Just make
Well,
sure your camera's above the waist. Do
well,
you remember?
if I can speak to that, when you go to an online meeting, please dress as though you were actually going to go out. All right. And the reason I say that, I don't, yeah, okay, Sherry, I don't care if you've not got good pants on or any pants on, for that matter. But
Actually do, Jen.
from a certain way up, you want to be dressed. And,
Mm-hmm.
do your hair, put on your lip. Well, if you wear lipstick, and not everybody who comes to a meeting will wear lipstick, put on your lipstick, put on your earrings, and just enjoy it. Make it an outing.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw somebody doing another more of a social event. They're on. Did they do it on Zoom? Yes, they did do it on Zoom. Sorry, I wasn't thinking for a minute. And when it was played back, they had prizes and different things going on. And although it was a social thing, people who came to watch or attend, be part of it, dressed up,
Nice.
because it was like date night.
Well, I know when I was on the one on Monday that we had last Monday,
Yeah.
I enjoyed looking through my clothes and picking out a nice top and putting some makeup on, because you slide a little when you're at home all the time, right? It's
Mhm.
not needed specifically. I mean, I feel better when I put it on. And if you're a man listening, you'll probably understand, if you have a wife, that they like to dress up once in a while too. So yeah, it gives us an opportunity to feel good, right? When you get a little stale at home.
Yeah, that's right. And the guys, you can shave and, you know, look good
Wear
too.
your pants. No.
Wear your pants.
I keep thinking about the Facebook thing that was circulating, the post that was circulating about the anchor man
Yeah.
who was dressed to the waist with his suit and tie and all done up, and he had his underwear on and didn't realize that the camera was
Picking that
filming
up.
that.
Yeah, that
It
would be a little embarrassing. And you can't unsee some things.
no, definitely not.
Poor man.
It was funny though, gave me a laugh.
Okay.
So
So
let's
online networking is cool, people.
it is. So Janet, number 5, be a leader.
Right, being a leader. Wow. You might have belonged or do belong to a group of people, a networking group, and nothing's being done. There are some networking things people are just saying, well, we can't do them, so we're not going to do them. That, it's over, at least for now. As a leader, the leader in you could approach the person who is facilitating or leading that group and ask him or her if you could maybe do something to keep people in touch over this period of time. And they might be receptive to it, they might not be. And I just wanted to talk to that a little bit, sometimes when people are not receptive to something, and we are talking technology here, and I actually got an email this morning from a friend of mine who was asking about Zoom, and somebody had told her, well, you can't use it if you're on an iPad. You can't use it if you're using this. And I totally was able to debunk all these myths she was getting. And now she knows how to do it. And I actually offered to do a run through with her, and so she could see. But, maybe the leader of that group doesn't know much about online meetings and how to do them, and is a little afraid. And there is something somewhat intimidating about getting in front of your camera. No, I mean, we're not all we're not Hollywood stars. Yeah. We're not all used to standing or sitting in front of a camera. And I think that needs to be thought about. So maybe you could, if you want to get something going, maybe you could suggest to him or her, how about I help you and we set something up and do it together? They might be more receptive then, because you're going to help them and sort of break the ice for them.
Definitely. That's great. Not everyone is up to snuff when it comes to technology, right?
That's right.
And not all care to learn, or like you said, are afraid to learn or nervous. So yeah, reach out and be a leader and support the leader of the group, right?
Yes.
I was going to say something else about that, and it just slipped my mind about being a leader. Oh, yes. We're talking about that this week as well, actually today, in our free lockdown training that we're doing for Rockin My Business members. And we're talking about being a leader in the time of lockdown, right? And being a leader, how it can help you to be seen and be heard, but also support and give. So I'm really excited about the training today. I hope all the members have downloaded it and are enjoying it.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. It's great stuff.
It is. It's a really, really good topic, and a good idea for anyone who's in business to think of themselves as a leader and step into that position too.
And we did offer this to anyone in business as a free, if you will, or a service that we're giving for this month of May because of the lockdown. We did something in April, and we're doing it again in May. So if you are listening to this or watching this and you are in business, feel free to contact us, and we'll tell you how to get involved in our Rocking My Business group.
Yes, each week there's a different theme per se, and every day you receive a different downloadable PDF with some training on that topic. This week is marketing your business during a lockdown. Next week will be networking during a lockdown.
Yes.
Or Rockin' Your Networking, it's called. And then the following week, Janet, is
that follow-up?
Yes, Rockin' Your Follow-Up. And then there's a fourth week that we're planning for you as well. Yes. So it's exciting. And www.rockinmybusiness.com, and there's a tab there that says free lockdown training, or you can message or email Janet or I, and we can hook you up with that.
Absolutely.
So right now we're going to take a break, and we're going to have a short commercial from one of our sponsors, Pita Pit. I think it's lunchtime. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. So Pita Pit. That just made me really hungry. I don't know about you guys, but please support our sponsors. Amazing, delicious, healthy pitas and salads and smoothies and yummy stuff. So number 6, I'm really excited about this because I love this topic. Be a social detective. Check your Facebook page, newsfeed, daily, and see what people are up to. Find new people to connect with. Refresh yourself. You might see someone that you haven't seen in a little while, right? And reach out and touch with them. And that's where you can go back to, don't forget about number 1. Don't forget your existing clients, right? And number whatever it was, don't build new relationships and look for new relationships. So
Right.
being a social detective, I tell my clients to take 30 minutes a day. Sounds like a lot of time. 30 minutes a day to go through your Facebook and social news feeds, see what you're missing, see what people are up to, see what you're going to find opportunities for new business. You're going to find people looking for your products or services, in need of help, maybe for stress or a certain product, hand sanitizer maybe, if you sell that. And also, don't forget to check your notifications. So if you check your notifications, you're going to see who responded to your comments, who commented on your posts, who sent you a private message. You're not going to miss a beat. So if you check your Facebook notifications, every time I scroll through them, I find something that I would have missed otherwise, right? It's easy to post something. You have to babysit that post. So what an easy way to check up on it by either going back to that post and checking the comments. It's a really important one. I suggest doing it that way, but going through your notifications to see who commented, who tagged you, who posted, who sent a message. Don't miss anything, because it's just like the topic of follow-up. It's the same sort of idea. If you're not following up on those social media posts, you're wasting your time. Don't post something and then forget about it. So be a social detective. Do you have anything cool to say about being a social detective, Janet?
Well, I love this one because just the word detective just creates a mystery, and
Put on your Sherlock hat. Sherlock Holmes hat.
walking around with a magnifying glass, going, "What am I going to find?" So there's something kind of mysterious and, I don't know, sexy about being a social detective. So you can snoop legally.
True.
I really like what you said about following up on your notifications, because a lot of times we do post something and people will comment, and if we don't follow up and then thank them for their comment, like I usually go back and check, and I will, if I don't do a comment back because we don't want to keep going on a thread forever and ever, I will often just like it or comment wow or haha, like depending on what it was. And then there's also people who share your posts, and why not say thank you? It's so easy, and it's just takes no time at all. And if you check your notifications a couple of times a day, that's personally, I do it at least that. It depends on my day, but that way you stay on top of it and they don't get lost down further and further and further. So you
Definitely.
I know I have often found I have a lot I have to look through, and I will quickly look through them, and I will kind of highlight which ones I want to make a comment on or move on. And it doesn't take much time. Just do it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's part of marketing your business, right? The other thing that you might see is who shared your event.
Yes.
Always thank people for sharing your events, sharing your posts, sharing whatever, right? Sharing your videos. Yeah, it's just nice to not take people for granted and to step out and say thanks.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So number 7, this is a good one too, Janet.
Yeah, it is. Do some revisiting. When there's some groups or social media things we belong to that we don't maybe visit as often because there's not as much activity going on there. As Facebook to me is the one where there's always activity. So I really enjoy that. But revisit social sites you don't often visit, like LinkedIn, for example. I have a lot of contacts on LinkedIn, and I admit I don't know them all, but somebody told me, and I'm going to assume this somebody was somebody who knew what they were talking about. I know she knew what she was talking about. Um, like, unless you have a really odd feeling, don't be afraid to accept people on LinkedIn, because a lot of people that are on there are looking through to see who might be a possible fit for their business
Mm-hmm.
as an employee. Like, so it's always great if you're looking for work, or just a good alliance for ongoing. So the thing is, go through those contacts, and every once in a while send them a message, reach out and just say, hey, I'm just checking in, wondering how you're doing, what's happening in your part of the world business at this point. But the one thing I really want to emphasize is, don't get salesy. Just don't get salesy. People don't
Yes.
want salesy comments or messages.
Yeah.
We only do business with people we know, like, and trust. And in some of those other social media platforms, we don't necessarily always know that person really well. We might
Mm-hmm.
know them a little bit through other friends, but we need to be not salesy, but be open to having a conversation with them. And I have a couple of people right now that I have never met in person, but they are local to my area. And because of what they see I've been doing, they really want to get together with me and talk to me about those kinds of things. And it's like, we'll get together afterwards, but like, so all the best right now while we're going through this, just hang with it. And that, I think it's really great to just have that open, friendly conversation. And we've all got time for that now. Sometimes
Yes.
when we get really busy, we don't have time to search out these other things. So revisit
Mm-hmm.
that whole area. Okay.
The other thing that you can do if you are on a social site that you don't frequent, you can ask someone, are you on Facebook? Because that's where I hang out. And if they are, they can give you their Facebook URL or send you a friend request. And you can connect there if you really want to kindle that relationship. I've done that a couple times, because I was on another social site, and I only go there once a week to check up. And this person wanted to, get chatty and have a conversation and ask about some things that I did. So I connected with them on Facebook and was able to continue the conversation. Because if you don't frequent one often and a week goes by and you haven't been there, you can miss a lot of opportunities. So invite people to, hang out where you hang out. And you'd be surprised, maybe they do as well. You just happen to meet them on another social site.
That is very true. And I have received messages from people saying, I've heard that you do meetings, or you do this or do that. And I go back and say, you will find me on Facebook, and that's where I post my events.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're on Facebook, I'll be happy to, friend you there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lead them to where we do a lot of our business.
Yes.
And the reason I like Facebook is because that seems to be where the majority of my demographics are
Mm-hmm.
for people. Like, I know it changes depending on age and that, but to me, Facebook still has got it.
Yes. Yes, I even tried setting up a social site outside of Facebook
Yep.
for the women in business group.
Ah,
And people just found like it was another place to go and another place to remember to log into.
yes.
So we gravitated again back to Facebook, because everything seems to just be in a happy world there, per se, most of the times. where you can do your events and do your pages and your groups and everything all in one spot. So yeah, it's funny how things happen. But don't forget, if you don't visit a place often that you're a member of, to do so.
Right.
Oh, let's go on to number 8. This is a good one too.
Yeah.
Join some new groups. And here by groups, we're not talking about new networking groups this time. We're talking about Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, or any other social site you have that are a member of that have groups. Look for ones where your target market hangs out, or where people that you can set up strategic alliances or partnerships with to support each other during this time. I think during this time, we need to really work together. And even if you are in the health and wellness business and someone else is, think of a way that you can join forces and work together to support and market. That's part of the training this week as well. Day 5, I just remembered what it was, Janet. Day 5 is partner up, and talking about different ways you can partner up and support each other. But the key here when you join these groups is to commit to yourself and to the group to join and frequently visit. Interact. Being visible is particularly important right now as the markets toughen. So you're getting yourself into a new group, but don't just post a sales post and then the next week post another sales post. Groups are for communicating and building relationships. So get in there, pay attention to the other people's posts. Don't just wait for instance, the day that you can post your upcoming events and only post that day. Get in on the days where they're talking about things. In the Women in Business group that we have, and I'm going to take a minute to explain here, because some of you don't know about what Janet and I do. I started a business called Women in Business back in 2003, and it's still running today. We have a Facebook page, we have a Facebook group, we have a website. In the group that we formed, we have different days, different theme days. Monday is Marketing Monday, Talkative Tuesday, What's Up Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, Fun Friday, and then whatever weekends. So using that as an example, if you're only posting on What's Up Wednesday and free, if the weekend that you can post free stuff, and you're not in there on the other days when people are talking about things, such as one of the topics was, what are you doing to, beat the boredom during the lockdown? What new hobbies have you taken up? Get in there and build those relationships by talking about things that you're doing, paying attention to what others are doing, and commenting. And, if there's a knitter, say, hey, I knit too. Isn't it great to be, knitting up a storm? I don't knit, by the way. Never have been able to. Do you knit, Janet?
I do.
When
I have time.
I think my creative brain is like, this takes too long to put a sweater together or a blanket or whatever. But anyway, get in there and communicate and get to know the people too. Yes. It's a really important lesson, because when I look at the Women in Business group, I get sad sometimes that people aren't taking more of advantage of it and are only posting on those free days. I'm thinking, that person has so much to say and so much to give and can learn so much about others, where they can build those relationships and perhaps work together, or perhaps sell the person on their products or services in time because they've built a relationship proper. So then you don't have to be salesy, right? It comes naturally. People are going to start asking. This morning when I woke up, someone was messaging me, Sherry, I saw your post in this group and I just wondered if you could tell me more about it. That's so nice that I didn't have to push that person. They came to me.
Yes.
Because they just saw me talking about something, right? So that's a mouthful, but number 8 was join some new groups of interest, groups where your target market is, groups where you can meet people who you can form relationships with and strategic alliances and work together with. Yes. So Janet, anything else about join some new groups before we break?
Well, you pretty well covered that all.
I did. That was a mouthful. Sorry.
The leader that you are.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you are really great at the groups, like the Women in Business group is such a great group that's been going a long time. You and I both know the value of longevity in these groups. Now, I've not been going since 2003, but two of my groups were 2011 and then 2012. So enough time to been able to stand on their own and, you know, given to it their members. So it's really exciting when you can, you know, join a new group or bring in a new conversation. And to your old groups, like you said, like, you know, Marketing Mondays, Talkative Tuesday, and so on and so on. When you can get people engaged and doing that, and then it can lead into others, and you're just going to meet a whole bunch more people. But the biggest thing with groups, no matter what group you're in, whether it's existing, or whether it's a new one, is participate.
Yes.
Participate. Don't just join a bunch of groups and then do nothing, because you just wasted your time and people aren't going to engage with you at all, because you need to put in that effort. You need to let people know you're here. And, you know, just even doing something like joining a group and then doing a post saying, I am new to this group and I don't know a lot about it, but something about it appealed to me. Would somebody like to share more about it with me? Invite somebody to share with you. People like to talk about things they're happy with. They like to talk about things they're not happy with too, but that's another story. You are, you know, if you open yourself to making that connection and then letting people actually connect with you and share, that's right. That's all people want.
Yes. And one thing too that I want to mention before we break again is don't forget to follow up with connections in those groups too. And the same as what we were talking about, the notifications and stuff, don't forget to pay attention to the comments and posts after you've posted something or after you've commented on something, right?
Are we making this sound like a whole lot of work?
It's fun.
Yeah, follow up and read those notifications, and it sounds more than it is. It really isn't that difficult, you know, unless you go out there and you join 10 groups all at once and actually communicate in all of them. But that wouldn't be smart. Take on one at a time and see how you like it. And you know what? The other thing is too, if you find you're not enjoying the group, you can leave.
That's true. Just like the groups in person, when Janet and I teach people about networking, and actually Janet and I are writing a book about networking too, calling Rockin Your Networking. When I just lost my train of thought now. What was I going to say, Janet? You usually can finish my sentences.
I can usually finish your sentences. Okay, you lost me a little bit there. But the thing is, when you are out there networking, getting to know people in the group, but if you're not happy, like, you know, if you do go to a networking group and you don't like what you see, and I've done it. I've gone to networking things and not liked either how it was run. I've not liked the attitude of the people there. Oh, and that's just, you'll read it in our book, because that's just a whole other big chapter on how to put yourself out there, like how to welcome people. Some people, I don't know if any of you out there have had this happen, but you've walked up to somebody and it's like they've moved and closed themselves off to you, which says, I'm not interested in meeting you. Yes. So I have been to that kind of networking thing where very, I don't generally use the word cliquish, but people, they huddle together. It's like, oh, we don't want anybody else in.
They like their company.
They're not genuine. I'm sorry. Those people are not genuine at all. So you want to go where you feel welcome and you belong. And if you don't, leave it. Same with online. If you join a group in one of the Facebook groups, or you join a online networking meeting, and you feel you don't fit, you can either just leave or take it up with the person running it and just say, I was expecting da, da, da. There may be many reasons why it wasn't quite what you expected, but just be open and don't sweat it.
Just say it's not the right fit for me.
Yeah.
And I remember what I was going to say when I brought up the book. I was going to say, when we teach people to network professionally, we teach them to choose 2 groups that they want to commit to, or they can commit to.
Yes,
so they go to every meeting, they follow up proper, they work it. It's part of marketing your business. It's not just to go and have a nice breakfast, although that's a nice perk, or a nice lunch. It is to build relationships and to market. It's part of marketing your business. So I get really passionate and kind of cranky sometimes when somebody says, oh, I can't come today because I booked a client in. But you knew about this meeting for a month, and it's every month at the same time, the same place. Why can't you put that in your calendar that I don't book anybody? And if you have online scheduling, you mark it off as unavailable. Sorry, rant, but
no, that's a pet peeve of mine too.
Yes,
I know we both teach people that.
The same has to be with the online groups. Yes, they're just groups on Facebook or wherever you're joining a group, but you've joined them with a purpose in mind, to build relationships and market your business. So work them and don't ignore them. So with that being said, my blood pressure's up now. No?
I think we have a commercial for one of our sponsors coming up.
We do. We'll be back right after a short commercial break from Delicioso Skincare.
My name is Ariel, and I'm Leona, and we are the founders of Delicioso Skincare. Delicioso cosmetics are made not only to pigment, contour, and highlight, but also to nourish your skin with raw oils, antioxidants, and these rich botanicals that are anti-aging, blemish-fighting, and completely hydrating. From color cosmetics and bath and body to skincare and perfumes, we formulated a huge range to cover your full beauty routine. We have over 400 all-natural and truly pure products, so everyone can find something for themselves. A vast majority of our ingredients are certified organic by EcoCert and USDA. With a unique extraction method, we're able to create aromas like strawberry, vanilla, and mango without using any artificial fragrances or ingredients, making our products truly 100% delicious.
Welcome back. Wasn't that great seeing 2 young entrepreneurs, actually sisters, working with products that are natural and healthy, so healthy you could even eat them, and doing that. Thank you for watching our commercial there from our sponsor. And I'm going to go on and talk about number 9, which is social chat. And social chat is just exactly how it sounds. I actually was able to do this, or I started doing this about 3 weeks ago. I wanted to just kind of put it out there. Although I do all the networking things, this wasn't about networking. This was just about getting together, coming together. And so I put this out that I was going to have this social chat on Zoom. All you had to do was click on the link and you were in. And it worked out really good. I had 17 people the first time, and I've had subsequent, I can't even say that word, but since then, I've had several come. People can't always stay for an hour, but they can come in and pop in for 10, 20 minutes. And my thing was, just bring your favorite beverage, bring your tea, bring your coffee, whatever beverage you like. It was a morning meeting. And just let's talk. Let's talk about, how are you coping? How are you coping at home? Have you got children at home? Are you homeschooling, or because you've now become the teacher on top of everything else? Are you a family that has members, or even one member that's an essential worker and going out? How do you feel? How's that affecting you? We've all heard about the anxiety, about the uh, unknowns that's going on. We're at that point where we're talking about potentially getting back out there carefully, and people are still scared and nervous. I actually do know somebody who says, I don't think you're going to get me out of the house until December. It
Wow.
just feels that way because the news is scary. It's really scary, and it's around us all the time. So having that social chat was good. Yeah, you could talk about your business. I didn't so much have people introduce themselves and their business as I did more like, tell me your name, which you could actually see on the screen for the most part. Tell me your name and where you're from. So, you get people calling from all different areas, and they really enjoyed it and looked forward to it. So the following week I had to change the day because I had another meeting, and I was really quite surprised and delighted that I got a number of calls from people or messages saying, what happened to the meeting? So,
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. They enjoyed it then.
so they enjoyed it. So a
Mhm.
social chat, there's nothing wrong with having, just a social time and uh, doing that. And the connections that were made, the people, I'm sure I'm going to see some of them at networking meet. Actually, a couple of them already have joined some of my
Nice.
networking meetings. Um, it's nice, and you're reaching out, to people you don't necessarily know. So
Mhm.
it was fun. And if any of them are watching this, thank you for reaching out, not knowing who I was or what I was doing. I wasn't
Mhm.
sure what I was doing when I started there, but I thought, what the heck,
Mhm.
it'll work.
That's a really nice thing to do, Janet. You know, like me, I'm always thinking of what can I do to support people in business, but that's supporting them as well because they're missing the social aspect out there of life in general. We can't meet for a coffee. We can't go and sit at each other's kitchen table and have a tea, right? Right now. We can't go
Well,
to the gym together. We can't go for a walk even together unless we're 6 feet apart. And then you're even chancing getting a ticket, right? So that's great. I hope you continue that, and I'd like to join in on that too because it sounds fun. I'd love to meet new
well,
people.
I think, it was fun, and like you said, we can't meet like we used to, and even in big offices or even small offices, people would gather around the water cooler, and they weren't chatting about, that spreadsheet they had to do, maybe somewhere, but they were like, so, how's your nephew doing now that he's moved, blah blah blah. That was when the social conversation came in. So that
Mhm.
was really what this was about. Let's just be social.
Mhm.
It's, there's a lot of places we can just do business, but let's be
Mhm.
social and have that social time.
That reminds me of the show you have on our radio station, WIB Radio, called The Entrepreneur's Water Cooler.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we need to rekindle that. Janet and I are working on rekindling some old things we used to do that were really popular, and I think it's time to bring that back.
I think
Yeah,
so too. That was
yeah,
one of my favorite things to do. And I agree. We should look at
yes,
that.
yeah.
I'll put it on my to-do list.
There you go. Mine's getting pretty long. I actually feel like I'm almost busier than before this lockdown, believe it or not. Um, but I do look after my husband's excavating business and our 50-acre farm and our horses and cows and family and new daughter-in-law who moved in our basement with my son, etc. So a lot going on here. Busy, busy times. But I almost feel like I don't have a spare minute. But that's good. That's
I was
good. I'd
going to say,
rather that
that
than
make you feel
wallowing
good
around,
though?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to number 10. Number 10, we have covered a little bit as we've been chatting, but again, this is so important. Interact. So this, thinking up to what we've been talking about in 1 to 9, it's come up a lot. Find people you want to build a relationship and interact with their posts before you direct message them. Comment, like, tag your friends in their posts, share their events. This will establish you in their network, making a direct message much more likely to be responded to in a positive manner, right?
Yes.
I don't know about you, Janet, but I despise when I get a post from someone I haven't heard from in 3 months that said, new product alert, check it out, without even saying, hi, Sherry, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Pet peeve. Wow. Nothing like turning someone off. So if you have been in your group or on somebody's page and you've interacted with one of their posts and said, hey, that sounds like an amazing product, then that person can come to you and say, I saw your comment on my post that said you thought the product looked pretty cool. There's your in to now direct message. So, right? So interact and comment, like, and tag, comment, like, and tag, comment, like, and tag, tattoo on your forehead, not your forehead because you won't see it unless you look in the mirror, on your hand, on your wrist, I don't know, comment, like, and tag, just don't forget that. And share people's events and get in there. No sales pitches until you interact, people, please. It's just not social etiquette, right? Especially with Facebook being such a social place, right? With the recent changes, that's what they insist that it is. It's a place to engage socially. So you have to work it proper.
Yeah.
Right?
What you said just reminded me, and this just happened a couple of days ago. I received one of those messages in my mailbox, and it was somebody who was promoting one of their products and were offering it free to whoever said they would like one. And so I was like, okay, I wouldn't mind trying that just because I'd like to know more about it. It was a mascara, to be honest. It was one of those ones that, just makes you have those Hollywood eyes. So I thought, okay, I'd give that a try. I already have my favorite one, but I thought, I'd give it a try and see. And the message actually then came back with, okay, so how you do this is we make you an associate and you have to sell 10 before you can get your free one. Oh. And right away, I didn't even read any further. I just said, no, thank you. I'm not interested. Well, then they tried to do another sales pitch on me, and by showing me what the difference was in using this product, and I was like, no, thank you.
So sell 10 before you even know what the product's like. You're misleading people. You're not
that kind of salesy thing is just, to me, it's so wrong. And it was misleading.
Yes.
Had I known that up front, I wouldn't have even bothered. So
there's usually always a catch in those things, right?
If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So true. Okay.
So
I think
before we take a break and bring Sarah Smith on, I'm so excited. So excited to have her on and be able to chat with her for a few minutes. But before, is there anything you want to recap or point out that we missed, Janet? That might be really important for people networking during a lockdown. We've covered a lot.
We have covered an awful lot. Yes. I think, if anything, this is the time to be a little bit more generous with yourself in terms of how you accept and deal with people. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know their home life situation, perhaps,
yes,
and what's going on. And, we're all hearing some very alarming things about how people are, this is affecting them, their mental health. And we want as a human being, and I know you feel this way too, we want to be able to help everybody we can and to make a difference, to be that ear, I can't even say it, but be that ear for those that need it, and that shoulder that they can't physically touch. But you get what I mean. So I think being a little bit more generous and reaching out.
Yes. Very important to think about why someone perhaps acted the way they did. Sometimes it's that they just don't realize, or they don't know, or they're having a really bad day because their anxiety is at its peak, or they've been affected a different way and they haven't realized they acted like that. I know one time I pointed out to someone, did you realize what you did in that webinar, what you said was really not the place to say it? Like, and they said, oh my gosh, thank you so much for telling me.
Yes.
I won't do that again. They were embarrassed, but at least I was able to, it was a hard thing to do, to tell them, but I didn't want to see them make the same mistake again. So sometimes it's that it just can be a variety of factors, right? So maybe instead of saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person did that, what a horrible person to do that, think, oh, what's the reason they did that?
Yes.
So be a little kinder, be a little gentler.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through a lot, right? I know the first 3 weeks of this, my anxiety was insane, and I felt like I didn't know if I was coming or going. And then I started to settle in, and I started to really get productive and figure out that I can work from home. I can do the same, but that fear that's instilled in you is that I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I can't do my banking. I can't do my grocery shopping. The food supply is going to run out, and all these things that are affecting us and
absolutely
being told to us.
It was a lot of panic buying.
Yes, and a lot to deal with. I know we couldn't find toilet paper for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden it magically disappeared again.
Well, I only heard the stories about that and saw what was on the news because fortunately or unfortunately, as it happened, I had replacement knee surgery just a couple of days before the lockdown.
Oh, that's right.
The surgeon, I was like his last patient.
Wow.
And then there was no physio. So I was not going to be able to go anywhere for weeks anyway, because you can't drive. And, now yesterday would have been 2 months. And so I was kind of laid up, so I could only hear these things. But my son and daughter-in-law would come home with groceries and say, Mom, you wouldn't believe this, the lineups, and like, you can't find toilet paper. You can't find flour. Now I know why. They're all baking bread.
Exactly. No yeast. Yeah. My son came home one night and I said, quick, you need to run to this certain store. They have toilet paper in stock and we're down to 1 roll. Wow. Crazy world.
And I don't think
go ahead,
you would, in terms of that you need toilet paper for this, but everybody's stocked up now, I guess.
My husband said, we don't need it. There's leaves and stuff outside. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, it takes me back to my childhood when my father would have me rip up newspaper sheets and put string gosh, now I'm going to sound really old, but take a string and thread it through and put it in the bathroom. Wow. But we lived in the outback too in Australia, so that was what was going on.
Hey, I know. Wow.
Know how to improvise.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I am so excited because I think it's time to bring Sarah Smith on. We're just going to pause for a moment and we'll be back with Sarah. We're going to get her on the line and have a chat with her. And then we're going to conclude and tell you about some amazing gifts that are going to be given away and thank our sponsors again and about some ways that you can get involved in the show. So
absolutely.
Without further ado, as they say, let's get Sarah Smith on with us. Shall we, Janet?
Let's do it. Welcome, right. Sarah. A go.
Hey everyone, now what you've been waiting for. We're so happy to have Sarah Smith on our channel today. And Sarah, we were so happy to have you record our theme song for us. So welcome. And I wondered if we could start by just having you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Good morning or afternoon, everybody, and it's really nice to be here. And thanks for asking me on the show. Well, as you know, I have been recording some theme songs and some jingles for people, and I was really happy to be able to do your theme song because I got to play electric guitar and rock it up a bit. So
that was fun.
My name is Sarah Smith, and I'm a London, Ontario-based music artist. I've been recording and performing my own original music for 20 years now. I've been traveling all over the world until recently. This is my first time ever being at home for more than a few weeks. And it's been wonderful to be put and to be able to do normal things and get settled back in my home. And it just feels like, to me, an absolute blessing in disguise.
So say you probably feel refreshed and energized and ready to go, right?
Yeah, there are some moments where, reality sets in and I start to feel fear or anxiety. And that usually comes with thinking about too far in the future. For the now, I'm absolutely taken care of. I'm working by the grace of many people who are helping me. I'm able to make a living still, and I feel busier than ever. I'm playing a lot of shows online, and I have a lot of projects happening right now. So
That's
for
awesome.
me, it's just been a really great time to be at home and reflect on me and try to stay in the moment. It's a good lesson.
Have you, like we see on the internet, taken up any new hobbies like baking bread or anything different that you wouldn't normally do?
Yes, I've been really amping up my German studies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ich lerne Deutsch. I have an app on my phone that I'm amping up that every day. I do it. I also do brain games on the phone for about a half an hour a day, just to keep my brain active. And I'm also taking guitar lessons online to become a better player and to practice lead playing. Like the other day I learned Blackbird, the Beatles,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, and I've never been able to play it. And so my teacher, who is my guitar player in my band, taught me how to play that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So no baking bread for you, Sarah.
Well, I have been cooking every night. My partner works every day, so it's my job to do the cooking. And I've never cooked like this in my life. And
Wow.
I'm cooking like I'm vegan and plant-based, and we cook all sorts of fun, exciting things like curry dishes and stir fries and some nice pasta dishes and lots of salads and just like really nice natural food. And it's been fun cooking for sure.
Yeah. Well, I would assume being on the road a lot, you would not have a lot of time for that. So that must be refreshing.
It's a lot of work. Cooking is a lot of work. And I can't believe all you moms and you parents out there that work all day and then cook for the family and then clean up after the family. And wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. I have 5 in my house that I do every day. So
wow.
It is a lot of work. It's almost a full-time job.
I'm sure it is. I can't believe, that's a hero to me, is a mother or a father or a sibling or an aunt or somebody that really, sacrifices their own life to help their fellows out. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Janet, do you have any questions for Sarah before we let her on with her busy day?
It's great having you on and meeting you like this. But I was wondering, have you got anything planned for future months, or is everything on a hold right now?
That's a good question. I do have some plans. I do have some shows booked throughout the summer. A lot of my tours have been canceled, but I still have some kind of smaller gatherings, backyard parties, birthday events, smaller things like campgrounds. And I foresee those going through, but again, I'm not holding my breath. I'm just letting life happen the way it happens.
Right.
That's great.
You've got a wonderful attitude towards this. And Sherry and I were talking actually earlier in the program because of the things we're doing online more so now, and that we're enjoying the slower pace of life, although we're both busier in many ways because we're connecting with so many people, but we are still a little more laid back. And I did mention earlier too, I think this is the time for us to be more gracious and accepting of one another. And it doesn't have to be rush, 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 go, go, go. Like, let's just take a breath. And, you know, maybe this was Mother Earth's way of saying, you all need to, you know, stop for a minute and just smell the roses.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've been really enjoying, like, I've never watched a series of TV in my life, or like I've never even made it. I hardly ever make it through a full movie. And so it's been nice to like actually enjoy some entertainment. It's been awesome.
Nice.
You have a favorite one you've seen?
Well,
that puts you on the spot, I know.
I like some artsy stuff. Like I really enjoyed, there was this one mini series called Unorthodoxed. And it's a series about a young Jewish woman who breaks free from the chains of her religion to find the new world. And it's pretty interesting. And I really like the artistic 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if you know that one.
I've heard of that one.
it's garbage TV, but I'm going to tell you.
Is it like a reality show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they're fun though, because you realize just how great your own life is.
It's fun. It's really bad, gross TV, and you know, I should not put it in my brain, but whatever. I'm just learning what it's like to be normal right now.
Good for you.
That must be so lovely. Well, Sarah, listen, we look forward to, you know, keeping in touch and finding out about what you're going to be doing once this lockdown is over. And we'll be sure to update our listeners on that too. So thank you so much for being on here today. And once again, thanks for our awesome theme song. We absolutely love it.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to be a guest on our show, apply to be a guest on our show, or if you would like to submit questions, please email Janet at rockinmybusiness.com. Anyone who sends in a question for the next show has a chance to win a gift bag from Spectrum Wireless that includes a TELUS gel pen, a mini boom speaker, Newsy SIM card adapter, a wireless mobile monopod, and a super cool cracked phone repair liquid.
Wow, that is a real incentive to send in your questions.
That is a great prize pack. I know who needs that repair liquid. That would be my granddaughter.
I'm pretty clumsy with my phone too. Speaking of prizes, we promised the chance to win one of 3 prizes for those who bought a ticket for our premiere show today. Thanks for those who did. The prizes are number 1, a Delizio skincare basket. Thank you to our sponsors. Second and third prize are from Janet and I. We're giving out 2 passes to our 30 days of Rockin Your Content Challenge in July. The value is $99. It's going to be an amazing 30-day challenge that's going to rock your content. The winners are going to be drawn at random after the show, and they'll be announced after this show. Good luck, everyone.
Okay. By the way, thank you to those of you that did buy a ticket, because $1 is going to be donated to Rise. And Rise is the charity that Sherry and I chose because it helps those that have mental health challenges realize their small business ideas. Tickets are only $5 per show, and $1 will be donated to them for each show. So please support and watch for ticket sales each month.
Yes. Love that charity. Love their cause. Amazing. So everyone, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us. See you the first Thursday in June, same time, same place. Thank you again for tuning in. You guys rock.
You guys rock.